Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're watching this program. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff, with Matt, as he joins us again tonight. Now, you guys heard my post-game recap, or hopefully you did, after the game there on Sunday. And so we're going to get Matt's quick thoughts, and we got a surprise guest coming in. It'll be a surprise to the YouTube viewers, but it won't be a surprise to anyone who's carried over from our audio podcast days. You'll definitely recognize our guest that we'll be bringing on here in short time. In the meantime, before we get started, I got a gnat flying around, fruit fly or something. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're slowly building an audience. Slowly. I wish it was going a little faster, but it's happening. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you comment. We're going to do live streams as soon as we build enough of an audience, and then you guys will be able to interact with us live as we're on the show. But it doesn't make much sense until we actually have enough people to kind of engage. So we're going to do a few more of these recordings, and then we'll start doing some live streams and talking with you about the birds. All right. So huge. I can't state this enough. Performance by the Eagles, and specifically the defense on this past Sunday against the Saints. The high-flying Saints, the unstoppable force of their offense, blowing away everybody first two games of the season. And as Matt will tell you, it's only really the preseason, so how good are the Saints? Well, we won't know for a while. But certainly nobody was able to stop this team first 2 weeks of the season. Philly went down there in an environment, in a stadium they don't play well in historically, and came back with a hard-fought W, especially defensively. I can't remember, Matt, how long it's been since I've seen an overall, from top to bottom on the roster and the defense, as complete a game defensively and as impressively as they played that they did this past weekend. So open up to you and give us your thoughts on the game. But that's my general feeling. I thought the defense was the biggest and most impressive thing that came out of this game was the defensive play. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You have the floor.
There's two things that stand out to me. I'll mention the second one later, but since we started off with defense, we've been saying this for a couple of weeks. You had already mentioned we are fans of football that realize that preseason is now what you're seeing on TV, right? The real preseason. 20 years ago, people actually played in games. You played at least 3/4 of the third preseason game to get ready for the regular season, and that's where you saw lots of errors and stuff like that. So we don't know, and like you said, it goes both ways. We're waiting to see what the Eagles are capable of, but when you have teams that have been coming into this game like the Saints, who put up 80-something, 90 points in 2 games against what was supposed to be a decent defense in Dallas, you don't know. Like, we don't know. What you want to see is positive steps in the right direction. And we were talking about this on the prior show. I'd said it from the beginning of the season. It's going to take till October for us to see truly what the defense is all about after these guys start gelling together and learning this new defensive scheme. But yesterday, this last Sunday, you saw how important it is that your dominant players, your blue chippers, step up to the level that they're expected to play, because I don't think they were living up to expectations. And not only did they live up to expectations, and in particular, Jalen Carter was the entire fulcrum of the rest of that defense, right? So he was just clearly not unstoppable, but clearly had huge impact on every single snap, like huge impact.
Yeah, he was a game record. He was a play record in that game.
Yeah, and
that's what you need out of him.
You look at the tape from that game and you put it up against all the NFL greats that ever played defensive tackle, and he fits right in with all of the Hall of Famers. I think it was Baldy that was probably mentioning this, or maybe Chris Long, but they had mentioned the difference is, now you have to be consistently showing up and providing that sort of impact game after game after game, right? But clearly anybody that was doubting the Georgia Bulldogs and Howie's draft picks, I'm like, okay, you can put that to rest. because Carter is still the real deal that we thought he was last year. And, he said a week ago, I played like trash. It's been all trash so far. And now it's like, geez, well, when he comes up in a game with a fire under his butt, he can dominate. So that the rest of the defensive players played great. In researching just who was on the field late in the game, especially, it seemed like Zach Bond had replaced Bryce Huff on a lot of pass rushing, edge rushing situations later in the game, second half for sure. So I love that, because if Vic Fangio, if he's assessing that you're not,
he's a no nonsense guy, man. He doesn't
like,
care how much you're paying Huff. He's going to want guys in there that can play.
If you're taking up space on the field, you better be productive. So I have no problem with that.
Yep.
And, Thomas Booker plays another great game again, and he's been consistently there from the beginning of the season. Yeah. So that's exciting, because this guy's from out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So all of that feeds into it. I mean, Carter was just a beast. Underneath that lineman's skin, Penning, who he was crushing all day, and then Penning goes off and throws Slay out of bounds and injures him.
Which was have you ever seen anything like that? I talked about
that was the second
on the post game show. I've never seen a guy block a guy through the end. I mean, I've seen guys block late into the sidelines, but not all the way to the bench. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing?
There's no way he doesn't understand he's out of bounds at that point, and he's still driving Slay back into
that was
chairs and tables and
and I thought at first Slay was really hurt. He was writhing on the floor, on the field. And I'm like, damn, it looked like he tore a knee or something. I'm like, what's this guy doing? How is that not like, only they did call the flag, right? I mean, they threw the flag,
they threw it
for the personal foul, but how's he not thrown out of the game?
No, and that was the second of two cheap plays. The first one was the hit on Smith, that if the refs don't blow the whistle there, that player knows that's a cheap shot at that point.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's my take on it. I think I don't necessarily blame the player. Yes, did he have to pulverize him? Clearly, he wasn't going anywhere. He had 3 guys on him already. Didn't need to hit him as hard as he did. But the refs got to blow the whistle, because, if we're going to be, and this is the type of coaching that, you and I know you didn't play football, but the mentality of the coaching that we had when we were kids, you play through the whistle. And so I'm not going to blame this guy for hitting when the whistle wasn't blown. Now, he didn't need to pulverize Smith, right? But I don't think I'm really blaming the refs on that play. I mean, why are they not blowing the whistle?
They should have blown the whistle, but I totally disagree with your sentiment on that, because clearly Smith is not breaking the tackle that's already on him from the 2 guys that are pushing him backwards. So there's no assist needed with the tackle, and this guy went in with intent to injure on that hit. 100% intent to injure on that.
Yeah, I mean, he did definitely hit him way too hard. I mean, there's no need for him to hit him that hard. I don't know. I still think it's a ref's fault primarily, and then that guy was just a dirtbag.
If we play them in the playoffs, I hope the Eagles are able to keep their cool, because they're going to want revenge.
Jalen Carter wanted a piece at the end of that game.
That was kind of frightening, because I was like, dude, all right, the head coach is in your face, so dial it down, please. I get what you're saying, but save it. Just save some of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't do any good. So he showing his youth at that point, but. So that was the big deal. You already talked about, I mean, the other guys that made obvious plays, Reed Blankenship with another interception, good tackling, good coverage by our cover guys, just a full answer from what we were looking for from last week. So that was awesome to see. And then watching the second game ball, if I had 2 to give out, are to the right side of the offensive line that had to play unexpectedly in lieu of Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton. So,
right.
And that
made that win even more impressive.
Yeah.
Because those 2 guys that filled in, by the way, not that this will surprise you, Matt, but on my post game, I was calling the guy Thomas. I don't know why I was calling him Thomas, but you guys, now that we're on YouTube, I'm very notorious for screwing up.
Who'd you call Thomas?
Thomas. His last name is actually Johnson. So it's Fred Johnson.
Fred, Freddie Johnson.
I was calling him Thompson. Thomas or something. Anyway,
Hollis Thomas, Johnson.
Yeah. I don't know.
So those guys, they deserve a ton of credit. And Geoff Stoutland, again, if there was one coach in Eagles history that they should just sign to an indefinite contract until he's dead, it's Geoff Stoutland. Like, never, ever lose Geoff Stoutland. He can turn he can turn glitter into gold. Like, he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean,
And those
how
two
many
guys
people has he
stepped
done it
up
with?
big time.
This
So
guy's like this guy. Yeah, this guy Johnson's been cut by 3 or 4 other
Yep.
teams or something like that. I mean, he's basically been around the league, and he's a big dude. You can see why teams drafted him and tried the guy. He's a monster.
Yep.
He's like another, Mailata on the other side of the line. He's huge.
Yeah.
But
And they held
apparently
up.
he just wasn't good blocking or whatever. I mean, you definitely need to have skills, and under a guy like Stoughton, he can, like you said, make what's the old saying? Like make well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, he's
man's
looking
trash
pretty
is
good.
another man's treasure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But the on the offensive side of the ball, like what's the worst part of it? Jalen Hurts and the 2 turnovers are like, are you kidding me? Like, can we just get through a game without giving away free points and free drives? Like, that's still frustrating as hell. But at the same time, awesome to see Barkley break his first long run of the season.
Pretty well, too. I mean, he played pretty well overall, but the turnovers have got to stop.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry.
And great to see Barkley break off the highly impactful run for 65 yards and then get a second touchdown to put us up in front. And they found Goddard almost out of necessity, but even the best play of the game wasn't even Goddard's long catch and run. That ended up being the most productive. But the 2 Saints defenders ran into each other, and he was wide open for his 60-yard gallop towards the end zone. But the play,
they actually almost took a third guy.
Yeah, the play that was out in front, and Goddard makes a one-handed to keep that drive alive before that play happens. Is the absolute best play that I saw from Goddard, and that reminds you of how good he can be. I don't know if you caught the video, but did you see any of the clips of Mailata chasing the play? And as he's huffing and puffing down the field, he's like, unhitch the trailer, and then he's like,
he said something like, God, you're slow, or something.
He's like, I'm happy though, but damn it,
didn't he like say something about it being too slow?
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Yeah. So Hurts is still.
Yeah, he probably should have scored there, but that's okay. We ended up getting it, punching it in.
Yeah, for a team that's still trying to find itself, to be able to correct the path against the Saints and have so many guys gain confidence for next week, which is the Buccaneers. That was a huge win. It's still preseason, but we're getting close to regular season games here. Like next week, the week after, this is where the teams really start to find out who they are.
After the bye, things get real. Yeah, after the Eagles come back from the bye, things are going to start getting real because then we're into October football, and the way things are lining up, these 2 games now, the Browns and the Jaguars. But again, it's what I'm about to say. You're like, well, we have only gone through really preseason, so maybe these teams are going to be much better than they're showing right now. But the Jaguars don't look good, and the Browns don't look good. So,
no,
we'll see. We'll see how they look.
Jaguars look terrible. I've never been a
games that the Eagles play coming back.
I've never been a fan of Trevor Lawrence, and this, but I'm like, I still see nothing that guy's ever done that makes me think he's going to be a big time quarterback.
Right.
I just don't see it. I don't know what it is. It's not like he's not talented. He can throw the ball a mile and he can throw it accurately, but if he's got to do it on game day, it just doesn't seem to work out. So who knows? He's definitely going to be a change of scenery, and maybe Peterson becomes the first coach fired. But they're struggling. And is that who? Well, I thought the Eagles played the Bucs next. Who do they have next?
They do play the Bucs next. I'm saying after the bye.
After
they play the Browns and the Jaguars.
They open with Browns and Jaguars. So that should be. I think those would be 2 wins, and I think I had them beating the Bucs, I think, but losing to the Saints on our predictions. But after, who knows who the Bucs are? I thought the Bucs would have steamrolled their game, and they end up being shut down basically. So who knows what kind of Bucs team we're going to get next week?
Yeah.
And but the Eagles, I think, are going to come out playing with some major confidence now, especially on defenses which is where they needed it most.
Yeah.
Whether AJ Brown's healthy or not, it'd be nice to see him back on the field, but I don't know. Who knows?
They could very easily be without AJ Brown and Smith for this game. So Dotson, which is interesting because we're going to have Johnny join us, momentarily. He's going to play a big role if those other 2 guys aren't able to go. So.
Yep. And Covey, I don't know how long Covey's out, but
so give us a quick Covey's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, that's a hurt.
Yeah, he broke his shoulder. He broke his shoulder.
He's a little guy.
Yeah, he's so, and I know exactly what play because I went back and I rewatched the game, and it's the play along the sidelines when he caught that flat and then took it about 8 yards and took on head first. You know, he took on the guy, the safety coming in, and just lowered his shoulder into him, and he's just like
Popped.
he's too small to be playing that type of football. Just run out of bounds. I mean, you love to see it, him wanting to be tough, but dude, you're a piece of paper out there, man.
Yeah, play like Smitty.
Yeah, just get out of bounds, you know, or no, play like what's his face. So we always used to bust for going out of bounds all the time. Play like Rager.
No, never ask somebody to play like Jalen Rager.
Well, I'm just saying, run out of bounds. That's what I mean.
That was his most talented skill set, was taking the ball straight out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He needs a Rager when he's about to get popped. Just get out of bounds. All right. So quickly, just give me the thumbs up, thumbs down. If I recall correctly, I think I only had I had a lot of thumbs up. I basically gave everyone on the defensive line a thumbs up, and obviously Blankenship, the sniper, the closer, he deserves his thumbs up.
Smart player.
And obviously Barkley. I mean, it's kind of there almost goes without saying. The thumbs down. I didn't really have many thumbs down. My biggest thumbs down, I didn't even give really Hurts a thumbs down. Even though he deserved with the turnovers, I kind of kept him. He's not an up or down because he played well, I thought, overall. He just can't have those turnovers. So he's got to stop the turnovers.
Yep.
My thumbs down was Sirianni.
Yeah.
He was my thumbs down for the game.
Would you kick?
So go ahead.
Would you kick a damn field goal? I just don't get analytics mean stuff. I get that. But in a game of football, anybody that's ever played sports realizes, and certainly for people that watch football, as long as we have, the game is a game of momentum. And if John Madden were alive, he would be the broadcaster you need to hear this from in the booth when they're making all these stupid analytical decisions. Well, all the stats say that they should go for it now because it's 4th and 3 and they're at the yada, yada, yada line. I'm like, no. If the defense is tired and you're pressing them into the ground, yeah, you go for it. If you haven't done shit all game and you're in field goal position, kick the field goal. And to not have Elliott have like any meaningful kicks this season yet, and then they give him that like 60 yards. I'm like, what are you doing? The guy's not even ready to
60
kick.
yards.
Yeah. So
just
I agree with that.
Really
My
dumb.
thumbs down.
I mean, as dumb as the first two were. I was just going to say, as dumb as the first two decisions were, the last one is the one I have the biggest issue with. Then you're going to go on your side of the field to have him kick a 60-yarder.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Like, why don't you punt there? So my thumbs down would be there, but I'm a Sirianni fan. I don't think he's as bad as everybody makes him out to be, but you got to start making smarter decisions. And you have to, when you start overthinking and overanalyzing things, you're telling your team you don't actually trust them to win the game on their own. Like that, you're almost proving to them like, well, you guys can't win unless I do all the super thinking. And I'm like, no, stop with the super thinking and just let these boys play ball because that's the talent you have on this team. So just let him go. Like, just let him go. Get out of the way, Nick. Just be a back slapper and a good job, Kellen. Great job, Vic. Great job, Jalen. And just clap your hands and call timeouts when you need to. And that's it. That's it. So I hope,
especially if you're on the road, you drive, have a good offensive, drive down there, and they come away with no points down in New Orleans and against a team that can score.
And we just
why are you not taking the points?
We just lost by that stupid score last week to the Falcons. So take the points and then trust your team to score more and hang on to the ones you got. And I hope he's learning his lesson. That's the most frustrating thing, right? So, but I'll give, if I got 3 thumbs up on both sides, I'll give thumbs up to Barkley. Fantastic job. Thumbs up to Goddard, and thumbs up to the offensive line that stepped up and just never lost a beat without the right side of their line. And on defense, I would give 2 thumbs up to Jalen Carter, which leaves me with 1 thumbs up, and that goes to just the team effort on defense.
Yeah. And then Blankenship is showing that he's got great hands. Those are 2, both of his interceptions, the Green Bay one and this one. Those were tough picks, to keep that off the ground and actually secure the ball. And he just reads the ball really well, which he's always done, even since his, rookie season.
Yeah.
He's always been very good at just reading, and kind of being a ball hawk. I mean, he really is kind of developing into a ball hawk safety.
He is, especially on that, the interceptions he's had, right? His first one ever in his career versus Green Bay, the first one he had this season in Green Bay, and the one that he had last Sunday, whatever route that is, like coaches have got to remove that out of their offensive game plan because he is all over that route every time they throw it his way.
Yeah.
He's a big body, so he doesn't have any problem
Yeah.
maintaining his position through contact to make those interceptions. So it's just a great play by Reed, and Vic is using him in the right way. He's using CJ Gardner-Johnson in the right way. It's funny that every big stick we've needed for a tackle for loss, it's been CJ making that play in the gap.
Yeah.
So that's been 2 weeks in a row that we've seen him do that.
He made that big stick in the Super Bowl, I remember, against Kansas City. So I remember seeing his physicality. It was really the first time I saw how physical of a safety he can be. And this year he's gotten bigger too. He's definitely more built. He's definitely gotten bigger. But he lays the wood.
Yeah. He doesn't come in there light. Yeah.
Yeah, he does not.
People. Yeah.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts? Because we're gonna bring our guest on next. So just wanted to see if you have any final thoughts there in the Saints, and then we'll bring
just good win, but not a great win. It's preseason, so just remember, got to keep improving, and let's just go. We need to rattle off 10 or 12 more of these games.
Yep. All right, here we go. We're gonna bring him on now, guys. If I had a boo sound effect, I would do it. Not for the guest, but for the team he's representing. That deserves.
Oh, come on! They've been miserable for years. Let them have a cheer.
Let's bring him on now. Those of you who have been with the podcast for the last couple of years will recognize this guest, Johnny the Commanders fan. But for you YouTubers, that he's going to be new to you. So Johnny, why don't you give us a quick little background, how long you've been a fan, and then we're obviously going to talk about your quarterback, who looks pretty damn good at this so you may have found something there down in DC. But go ahead, Johnny.
So
the floor is yours.
Thank you. I've been a fan of the Washington Redskins since the late 70s. I'm 40 plus years in. I'm never going to switch. They're always been my team. Geoff, you and I have known each other for probably 12, 13, 14 years.
Yeah, we got to be heading towards 15 years now or so.
Right.
Yeah.
And have, always talk football every chance we get. So I guess the thing about what's happening right now with Washington is that this is something that I haven't experienced in a very long time. Like the chance, at least, that we hit the quarterback, and that's
it looks like
that's really, you can't win consistently if you don't do that.
Right.
The last time we were close was probably Griffin's first year.
Right. Yeah. Before
maybe one of the cousins' years.
Pieces.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, you have to go back to Mark Rippon in the 90s, early 90s, since Washington's had any sustained excellent at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to definitely talk about Jaden Daniels can I don't think any NFL fan could have watched that game the other night and was like, that dude can play. Also, some of those throws he made were unbelievable, and he had guys in his face even, and threw it on a dime to those guys.
Yes.
McLaren. Matt said it to me. I think he texted it, Matt. And I think you said McLaren's going to be the happiest player in the NFL.
Right. 4 years of like, what am I doing here? He's a great athlete, great mindset. He's one of the
he is.
He could be a prima donna, but he's not. He's just an ultra leader already. And so now he's got a young quarterback that I think everybody, every NFC East true football fan, I think, watched that game against the Bengals, because we were wondering ourselves, like, all right, what is this quarterback?
Is he that good?
Is he that good? And
so far.
He's like, they mentioned it in the broadcast, like, this dude is like smiling ear to ear. Like, there's like zero. They're like, is he even aware that he's in this big time Monday night game and all of this pressure
too.
In Washington to be the next guy, and he just handles it. Like, I was listening to a press conference quote today from Dan Quinn, And he was just like, yeah, that's who he is. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the smile is. And he's just like, let's go. And I'm like,
you're right.
You found a guy. And I'm like,
That is
I've listened to enough miserable Mondays being in the local media market where I was so happy to watch the Commanders win as an Eagles fan. I'm like, thank God. Like the fan base has something to be truly happy about and look forward to, right?
It's been a long time.
By the way, John, you can, when we bring you on the show, you can wear your Washington
my gear. I know.
We'll allow you to do that.
I will do that in the future,
especially when we bring you on during rival week when we play you guys.
Yes. I will
feel free to represent as much as you want.
I will do that. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from the live shows since you switched over from the just audio. So
yeah, well, I mean it's the same format. It's obviously a primarily Eagles based show, but you're in our division. Right. I'll have representatives and fans from the Giants and Cowboys as well as when we play them too. And you've obviously been part of this program for a while now, so
sure.
You're always invited to come on and represent. So all right, so let's one of the things Matt and I were talking about before you came on, because I want to get your opinion as being a non-Eagles fan and just a football fan. Did you watch the Eagles game, or did you see the highlights at least? As far as did you see the Devontae Smith injury when he got pummeled when he was being tackled and the refs didn't blow the whistle? Did you see that play?
I did.
Okay, so what is your thoughts on that? Do you think? Where do you fall? Do you fall on the ref's fault because he didn't blow the whistle and allow this guy to come in and nail Smith, or do you blame more the guy for taking a major cheap shot at or both?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard not to say there's some blame on both sides. If the ref had been more adamant with the whistle, he probably wouldn't have come in with the cheap shot, but he still may have. And
yeah, that's true too. He might have still hit.
I hate the play. I mean, I saw it. I saw the replay. I didn't see it live, but I saw the replay, and
yeah.
I mean, it was pretty dirty.
Yeah, watching it live, I'm like, man, is Smith alive?
It looked bad. It really
was like
did.
Being in a car accident.
Yeah, no, it was.
Did you see the other play by the? I think his name is Penny, the other offensive lineman who blocked Slay all the way to the bench. Did you see that play?
That I did not.
Yeah, so if you can imagine a 300-something pound offensive lineman blocking a cornerback who's maybe not even 180 pounds, all the way past the out of bounds, all the way to the bench. That's what happened. And Slay ran into a tripod and messed up his knee. I mean, he's going to be okay, but you got to have seriously hurt. But I've never seen anyone block that far out of bounds.
Even Gronk's block, and I forgot who it was against, but when Gronk's famous block on the Patriots, when he's like, I had to throw him out of the club, right? Even that didn't go that far out of the sidelines as this guy. And the only other thing I can think of is in the movie The Blind Side when Michael Orr is picking up the guy and he just runs him off the field and throws him in the trash. And he's like, it was time for that guy to go. I'm like, that's how far this guy Penning shoved Slay. He disappeared behind the sidelines, Scott. And you didn't even see what he was like.
Yeah, so Johnny, I don't know if it's on YouTube. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt. I'll let you finish up there.
No, I was just saying, he drove him so far off the sideline that they were into the crowd, the crowd of people that are just standing there holding the sticks and the chains and all the assistants. They were behind them. It's so stupid.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, they did, Johnny, since you didn't see the play. It's probably on YouTube. Maybe just check it out at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What I'm talking about. But they gave him a 15, they did flag him for, personal foul or whatever. But to me, a play like that, why don't you just immediately eject him from the game? I mean, it's so insane to block a guy that far. And then the player got hurt too on the play. Maybe an ejection is going a little overboard, but to me, it's it's so obvious. Why would you continue to block a guy, 10 feet out of bounds? Made no sense.
Yeah, that one I did not see.
All right. So NFC East. How do you, and we'll definitely talk about your Washington's performance there, and which was impressive on Monday. That's a tough team. It was a desperate Cincinnati team. Maybe we'll just talk about that, and then we'll just talk about the NFC East in general. So what I liked about the Washington game, not only, of course, the quarterback, I mean, that goes without saying. And he is, as an Eagle fan, it kind of sucks that you guys did find a quarterback. I mean, I'll be real about it because he looks like he's freaking good. I mean, we've talked about it, right? He not only has the throwing talent, those throws were incredible that he made. I mean, those weren't fluky throws. He did it twice. Both of those touchdowns to McLaren.
Right now. As a fan, as long as I've been, it's hard. It is really hard not to be really excited. It's been a
it has to excite you even more that you have your rivalry teams that are impressed by what they just saw, not just you as a fan.
I mean, actually, after the game, Aikman, obviously Dallas guy, was saying, I mean, and incredibly, complimentary things about him also, and even to the point of saying this Washington fan base has been down for so long. He's happy for them, happy for us that I really don't want Troy Aikman's sympathy. Actually, screw that guy. But as it sounded on TV last night, it looks like the league is starting to take notice. Like Washington might have legitimately found the guy.
Well, it's hard not to. I mean, those throws were.
It's
hard not to because he played very, very well. Broke the record for the best completion percentage by a rookie all time. So not only now at first, and Matt mentioned that too early on. He's like, I think it was before halftime. Yeah, he's got like 88% or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but most of them are like, most of them, as you probably would agree, were like these little short dart passes. I'm like, anybody can do that. I mean, but the second half, he was throwing darts down the field.
I think it was like literally
like, okay, pass play. That's a legit 91% now.
Yes. Oh, with the throws he made to McLaurin alone, that was he legitimized the 91% or whatever it was.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the craziest thing. Washington has not punted in 2 straight games.
2 games.
Like the Giants game, they had the ball 7 times. They kicked 7 field goals and 1 kneel down at the end of the first half.
Right, I remember that.
In the game last night.
You guys beat the Giants without scoring a touchdown.
I know, exactly. And then in Monday night's game, they had the ball 6 times. They scored 5 touchdowns and 1 field goal and 1 kneel down at the end of the half. I mean, they have now literally gone 2 straight games without punting 1 time.
I didn't know that.
I mean, that's one of those stats, like, that hasn't happened since the merger, I think. Like, legitimately, it's something historical is going on. They're moving the ball, and they're not punting. I mean, they've gone for some 4th downs and gotten them. But they haven't punted in 2 games, and they haven't had a turnover in all 3 games, which of course that's going to change. They're going to have film. They're going to figure out what.
Yeah, he is a rookie. He's going to have some rookie.
It's going to. Yeah, sure. I'm not pie in the sky right here thinking that we found a magician here, but so far, I mean, it's really hard not to be super excited.
You can see all the things that you want to see in a young quarterback, right? He's got the arm strength, right?
Yeah.
He's got complete arm strength. He's got accuracy on the deep throws and the middle throws and the short throws, and the game is not too big for him, right? He's cool under pressure.
Yeah, doesn't look too big.
Calm control of that offense. Plus plus he
runs a 4.4.
Yeah, I know, right?
Seriously, if he has to run, he absolutely can. I mean, he in a way, obviously, all of us Washington fans, we're all comparing him to the first season of Griffin, of RG3. The thing about him, though, is that he is a pocket passer who can also run, as opposed to a running quarterback who might be able to complete passes from the pocket if everything else is right, but never had the ability to read a defense and diagnose coverages. And I think one of the things about Daniels is that he actually was a starter for 5 years in college. 3 years at Arizona State and then 2 years at LSU. So he's started, I don't know, 60.
He's got that extra year.
Games. Yeah, he got the COVID year.
Yeah.
He's not as inexperienced or green as most incoming rookie quarterbacks would be.
Yep.
Like he's played in a lot of games, and he's played in Death Valley. He's played in Tuscaloosa. He's played at Georgia. Going on the road to Cincinnati on a Monday night, that stadium's not.
Yeah, he's in the SEC, so he faced good caliber.
He's done the loud, crazy, ridiculous, road atmosphere and succeeded at it. And
and it seems like Cliff Kingsbury is the perfect OC for him, with the balance that they have on offense with B-Rob and Eckler. And Eckler got hurt in the end of the game, right? What's the injury report on him? Do we know?
I don't. Yeah, I as of about 5 o'clock, I hadn't heard anything, and that's a couple hours ago.
That's a big piece.
He's in the protocol. I don't know what that ended up meaning.
Yeah, it was a concussion, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why they took him out. I love Eckler.
He's good. He's always been a weapon out of the backfield.
I was so glad to hear when they picked him up. I thought that
and he has a nose for the end zone. He scores a lot.
Exactly. I mean, he turned the game around last night or Monday night with like a 60-something yard kickoff return. Like he's back there returning kickoffs and doing it well too.
Yeah.
He took one 60-something yards down to the Cincy, I don't know, 30-yard line, 25-yard line, something like that. And I think it was actually the kick at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah.
And so Washington was up, and then they got a short field and went up even more. And by that, that's once they got the lead, and as long as Cincinnati couldn't get Washington off the field, they just basically ran the clock out.
Yep. So the other thing with Daniels is, as the season goes on, and you're definitely being cautiously optimistic, which is the right space to be with this guy.
Sure.
Certainly he looks to be the goods for sure. I don't think anyone can debate that right now. But there's going to be, with each passing game, there'll be more tape on him. So defenses will be able to try to figure him out. And then he'll have to counter that. And that's when you really find out, if he's going to be in one of these top echelon quarterbacks or not. I think any of us right now, if we had to throw the money in there, I think we'd be taking the bet that this guy's he's going to be good. He already is pretty good, and McLaren, he's got some weapons there, and Robinson is a good running back too. He's a physical. That guy does not go down easy.
I love Robinson. He's one of.
And I like the tight end though. That tight end Stinnett, is that his name? Stinnett or something? Who's your tight end? I think he's a rookie.
Rookie tight end Ben. It's Sinnott. It's Sinott or Sin.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
he's got some ability too. That guy.
Yeah, he was a second round. He's a rookie. He was a second round draft pick. Actually, that was the pick that when Washington traded down with Philly for you to get DeJean.
Oh, that's the guy you
took in with that pick.
We ended up I think in the trade our early second round pick for your other 2 second rounds later.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was one of the ones that he was one of the ones that we picked with that pick.
He's got major ability, and right now, of course, he's got Ertz to kind of lean on too to kind of learn the
right now
game from and all that. So
I used to hate Zach Ertz for obvious reasons. Right now, I am very, very happy to have him in my.
We still love him in Philly, man.
Oh, he's going to be, if he can stay healthy and play 17, he's going to be a major, major weapon this year.
Yeah, and he'll help out that guy Senate too. He'll help out that tight end.
Right. Yeah,
get better faster.
I think the rookie is got the perfect situation and the perfect person to learn from. I mean, and that when I say I hate
Yeah.
Birds, I didn't hate him. I hated him torching my team and tearing us up. But I always thought he was a great player. Always seemed like a good person too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Well,
so yeah,
it's a good segue because I wanted to get your
sad.
thoughts. Now we talked about Washington. Let's get a I keep saying Redskin. Let's get a Commanders perspective on what your thoughts are on the Eagles this season, especially how impressed, at least we were impressed, but you being an outsider, how impressed were you that they shut down that high-flying New Orleans offense in New Orleans this past week?
No, that actually did surprise me. Although I must admit I didn't have the opportunity to watch a lot of the games on Sunday early afternoon.
Yeah.
I saw the highlights and
Yeah.
I was following it as it happened, like on the phone, but not actually watching it. No, that's a legit
Well,
defensive
Johnny, the
performance.
thing is the Eagles don't play well down there ever. Yeah. Eagles, that's just a place the Eagles have never played well down there.
Right.
And a lot of teams really don't play
No,
well
it's
down there.
it's
tough,
tough. I mean, it's a different atmosphere. It's crazy human. It's a odd scenario.
It's a loud, hostile environment. And I mean, it was just a bigger win for the Eagles because they're after blowing that game against Atlanta on that Monday night at home.
Right.
That game was horrible the way that ended for us Eagle fans.
Yeah. No,
so they kind of was hoping for a rebound. Yeah.
I think I told you after CJ stuffed Robinson on the 4th and 1 and they got the ball, I went to bed like
game over.
All right. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that I wasn't hoping Atlanta would win because come on, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
I was hoping Atlanta would win and I was watching it and when they stopped him, I just flicked the TV off and rolled over and went to bed. I was like, damn, Eagles are going to win this game. Woke up the next morning and then realized what happened and was, to say the least, I was shocked. I mean, completely stunned.
They said like the StatCast or whatever at the time, basically right after that play that you're talking about when CJ stuffed them, that the Atlanta Falcons percentage chance to win that game was 0.007.
Yes, right. Like there was not even a plausible scenario that they could not have won the game.
Well,
I mean, that's the difference between 2-1 and 3-0, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
speaking of NFC East, 3 out of 4 teams won this past weekend, right? So
including the Giants.
Including the Giants.
The Daniel lovely Cowboys.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors.
Oh, Malik Neighbors.
He's a player.
That he is a problem.
Yeah. Those are the two most impressive.
We are going to
the two most impressive rookies of the season. Your quarterback,
our quarterback, and the
Neighbors
receiver. Yeah.
And Harrison too with Arizona. Those 3 guys are already proving they're
going to be problems.
Yeah, going to be really good for a long time. I think.
I'm glad to have one of them, but
you do.
Neighbors made Washington look silly last weekend. I mean, he is that good already.
Yeah, he's good though. I mean, he just made up.
Although I guess as NFC East fans, the longer he makes Daniel Jones look adequate, the better.
Yeah, they'll keep Jones around.
They're not going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Let them win a few here and there and keep Daniel Jones and keep paying him $40 million a year. That is great for the rest of us.
Well, I tell you what, the way that Daniels is playing right now, because the Hard Knocks did have the Giants thinking at least about trading up to try to get Daniels.
Right.
I guess maybe if it was a fall one more or somehow they were going to try to see if they could maybe trade with the Bears. I don't know how they were going to do it.
I think they made,
but they definitely kind of passed on the idea. Like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, the more Daniels looks good, the Giants might regret not trying to make a move to get him.
That Washington wasn't trading out of that.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think they would have got him anyway.
There was no way they were trading out of that pit. They could have done the whole Ricky Williams,
especially to an NFC East team.
Our whole draft, it would have. I mean, they could have done the. We'll give you our entire
Herschel Walker.
Yeah, Ricky Williams. that trade.
Herschel Walker, Ricky Williams.
Yeah, no, no, they were not trading out of that pit.
Or who's the Chicago quarterback that the stupid Bears went up to go grab from and traded him like boatload for Trubisky? That happened to be the same draft that Mahomes was in. They traded like all their first round picks and second round picks to go move up like 2 slots or 1 slot to go get Trubisky. I mean, that has to be one of the worst trades of all time, too.
Yeah, and look what the Browns have done with all those picks.
Yeah, not much.
Not much. But I mean, they could have just sat there and took Mahomes.
They turned one of them into Baker, and then they ran him out of town, and now he's actually better than better. He's playing better than the quarterback they're spending $250 million guaranteed for.
Yep.
Who, Mr. Happy Ending.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
Mr. Happy. That is what he is. So, all right. So, I think the Giants and Cowboys play tomorrow night, right? Aren't they the Thursday night game?
Yeah, it is.
So we'll all be watching that one closely. We have to root for the Giants. I mean, it's one of the few times a year I root for the Giants.
Yeah, I know. So, I agree. You're right.
I mean, they got a chance to really bury Dallas. I mean, they can kind of like almost, I won't say stick it back.
Yeah, I know.
Yet, but you know how things go down in Dallas. If they're 1-3 to start this season,
they might implode. Yeah, Jara might start firing coaches if they go 1-3. I'd love to see it. That'd be great.
CD was yelling at Dak at the end of the game.
I saw that too.
Ball. I'm like,
Mika Parsons could be a hothead too sometimes. So if they lose again, he might go off on the team or whatever.
Yeah,
they're very close. I think they're on a cusp of just completely imploding, and that would be fun to see for all of us.
Oh, please,
a loss to the Giants would get them there pretty quick. Yeah,
yes, it would.
Yeah, that's a team that they've been beating up on the last few years.
I mean,
so they lose to the Giants
41-7.
Yeah, they've been killing.
Yeah, they've been killed. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would surprise any of us if they roll the Giants again. Like maybe they wake up on Thursday night and put 40 on them again. I don't think it would surprise anyone.
Yeah, I don't know what quite to expect from Dallas right now. They've been all over the place.
It'd be great if they lose though.
It would be great.
I want Neighbors to score 3 touchdowns. I want Daniel Jones to throw for 300 yards.
Yeah. Defense shut him down. Pick off Dak a couple times. Yeah.
I mean,
they'd be in dead last place.
Giants do have I think they have a legit defense.
Their defense, they can get some really good pressure. Their front seven's really good. Their secondary,
they are good. Yeah, the secondary,
they can get pressure.
Suspect. No, I think they're a formidable team.
They got a good line. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. No, I mean their whole deal is Jones the guy, or are they do they want to go 4-13 and draft someone next year? I mean, I don't know. When you're stuck with the guy who's kind of good but not really good, I mean, that's the worst place to be stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, what are you going to do? You're going to pay him another $40 million again and maybe win 10 games or maybe win 6 games.
Yeah. I think they may go the retread route, right? So you're probably going to have Darnold available because McCarthy is going to need.
That's right.
So you're going to have Darnold. You're going to have Bryce Young. If you're still a believer in him, then you've got some retread guys. Lawrence just signed that huge deal with the Jags. So
that's looking like a bad deal for them.
Yeah, they won't be moving on.
And I'm a Clemson guy. I mean, I didn't go to school there, but most of my family did. I followed Clemson probably more than any other school besides North Carolina. And
I tell you what, if Lawrence ends up being a bust, maybe bust is a little bit of a reach right now, but certainly he was like, the next coming of Peyton. He was supposed to be like the next Peyton Manning, right? That was
he was.
And I have to say, I give Matt credit. Matt has never been on the Lawrence bandwagon from the beginning.
Nice.
So,
I mean,
he's probably shaking his head.
I thought he was going to be.
I did too.
At least a top 10 in the league quarterback, and he might not be top 20 right now. And that's not just from 1 or 2 games. That's from
Yeah, he's
seasons.
got a pretty long. I mean,
He's
what he's
got a
playing 3
track
years,
record
4
now.
years.
Yeah, and it hasn't been very good.
I saw a comparison yesterday that had the amount of games that Bryce Young has played from the moment he was drafted to the moment he got benched compared to Trevor Lawrence's numbers, and they're almost exactly the same.
Yeah, right.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
For the
That
amount
can't be. That's
that was playing.
Lawrence's first year was pretty bad. It was
Terrible, right?
a train wreck.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And I think you
I
could
don't
say
know what
the
I don't
coaches
know what
had
to make about Young yet because he's playing on a horrible team. He's got no offensive line, doesn't have
Right.
any weapons.
so was Lawrence, to be fair.
Now I
Lawrence
say
had-
that, but freaking the Red Rifle just went off this past weekend.
I was just gonna say, Andy Dalton had no problem getting.
I know Dalton just went for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was gonna say the offensive line blocked for him.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to give that guy a little bit of a break.
No, I know
Maybe he's just not that good.
It really does. It seems like he's on his way to becoming like the single biggest
Huge
bust
bust.
in
Huge.
NFL history, maybe except for Jamarcus Russell
Jamarcus.
or I mean Ryan Leaf,
Russell
maybe.
or,
I mean,
the other dope
in
Ryan
that-
Leaf.
he's approaching that ballpark right now, and unless he
Yeah.
either goes somewhere else and revives his career or
Yeah.
somehow gets back
Well,
on the
I
field.
think it was a risky pick, if nothing else, as good as he was in college. He's just short, and it's tough
I
to.
know.
In today's NFL, it was tough even 25 years ago, but in today's NFL, when you have this behemoth lineman, you have to at least be able to see the field.
But the thing that puzzles me about that is that he played at Alabama, and all of their offensive linemen are now in the
Huge
NFL.
dudes.
They're all huge too. So
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
He had to look over a tall offensive line
That's true.
as
Yeah,
a
good point.
collegiate player. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know why it seems that much different now. Has he really been given a full shot, like a
No.
fair, legit shot? Probably not.
No. And the
And,
coaching's
I mean,
not been good down there either. So
Yeah,
probably not
and-
getting good
and-
coaching.
disclosure, I mean, my hometown is Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I grew up, and a lot of my best friends are Panther fans. So I follow them probably second most to any other team besides Washington. So
So what's the sentiment down there about him then? Do people think that he's a bust, or do they think he
No.
just needs
Yeah.
more of a chance?
no, people think he's a bust. I mean,
They
there's-
do. Yeah.
but
You can't blame him at this point. He has not looked good at all.
I mean, I think the sentiment basically is, oh my God, we screwed
Yeah.
this up. We should have gotten Stroud.
Well, yeah, that's true. It
I mean,
doesn't help that Stroud was picked right after him.
Yeah, I mean, the one pick later is lighting it up.
That makes it worse.
I mean,
So it is almost like the Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning.
yeah,
in that
and I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that there's probably some Chicago Bears fans right now that are thinking, man, we could have had Jaden Daniels instead of Caleb.
Maybe.
He is
I think it's too early to say that yet. but
It's too early. It's too early.
Right
but
now, Daniels has the edge. That's
right
for sure.
now, yeah, from what we've seen in the first 3 weeks, I know I'm happy.
And Caleb has weapons too, so there's no
Yeah.
excuse.
That's
He's
what I
got
was
guys
going
that can
to
lay
say.
down.
I think if you flip flopped the two of them into the situations that they're in with the skill players and weapons, offensive line, and all that, Daniels would in Chicago might even be better than he was in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe,
they
maybe for sure. Yeah. So what are they going to do? I mean, because it didn't help that Dalton came in and went off.
He
either.
just put it
So
on. He looked like he's been playing 3 touchdowns, 312 yards, or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
yes.
Same Carolina Panthers offense that hasn't done.
that doesn't bode well for.
They haven't scored 3 touchdowns since like week 14 of last year, probably.
Yeah. And he hasn't even played
He-
for a while either. Like, did
Yeah.
he play much at all last year? So he's really coming off the
No.
bench, not even with much experience in the last year or so. It goes off.
That's the
doesn't.
New York Giants quarterback here, right there. Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's how it works. So who's Philly?
So
have this
when do
weekend?
the Eagles and Washington Well, we play. We're down in Tampa, another team we don't play too well against. So
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
see.
they already they smoked us.
And we're going to be without AJ Brown and Devontae Smith more than likely, because
Ooh.
we're going to be really. Oh yeah, that's why I wanted the good timing to have you on, because we are probably going to utilize Dotson more than any other week this week, because he's going to be our number one wide receiver more than likely.
Well, good luck with that. he wasn't very good
So
as
we'll
our
see,
as our potential.
Well, I mean, he wasn't
even good as our number 2 receiver. I mean,
they haven't used him much at all, but he's good at scoring touchdowns though.
Well,
and I tell you what, the Eagles have rarely used him, but when they've thrown him, he's caught everything and he's made plays.
I mean, no, I know he has talent. He does definitely have talent. I'm not sure what it was or wasn't in DC that just didn't work, but it definitely didn't. I mean, he
is smaller than I thought he was, though. For some reason he looked little bigger in the Washington uniform. He's a smaller guy than I thought.
Yeah, no, he's a slot guy. He's not an outside guy. I mean, I don't think and that was one of the reasons that I wasn't crazy about the pick in the first place, because actually Washington traded out of the pick that ended up being Chris Olave from the Saints.
Oh yeah,
and
he just killed the Eagles.
He got picked at number 11, and then Washington got the 16, and then got a 3rd and a 5th. The 3rd ended up becoming Brian Robinson, which
another good pick.
That ended up okay. The 5th was actually Sam Howell.
Your boy
now is
he in Seattle now? Where is he? Denver?
Seattle. Yeah. And
I still think Howell could play.
I know Howell can play. I mean, my college allegiance. Howell was
at least he'd be a good backup to have. I think he could play.
No, I think in some situation he could be better than just a backup. I don't know if he could be top half of the league starter, but he could definitely be a starter.
Yeah. Got to build.
As much as I hate to say it, Geno Smith is actually playing pretty well for Seattle. But if he gets hurt, I think Howell could go in and play just as well, maybe even better.
I think so too. I think he can play.
I think Howell. I mean, the offensive coordinator and Eric Bieniemy and the whole system last year was doomed from the start. I mean, it was a bad fit, and I don't think it gave Howell a chance to really show that he can actually play quarterback in the NFL. I think he can.
He always played well against the Eagles.
He did. Yeah, that was 2 of his probably 3 best games of the year were against Philly.
Yeah.
And
like I can see him down the road being a backup for the Eagles, because the Eagles are not going to forget. They don't forget games like that. So it won't surprise me if down the road Sam Howell signed as our backup. It definitely would not surprise me, and I'd be happy with that. Yeah. I think he could definitely play.
I've got a couple of autographed football cards of his if he ever becomes an Eagle, if you want them.
I know you have one. I know one of them. I know one of them you have.
Yeah.
Speaking of resurging quarterbacks, being a USC fan, I love seeing what Sam Darnold's doing. I mean, this guy's having a major resurgence in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to expect if that's sustainable, or I mean, did he?
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, it helps when you have Justin Jefferson and Addison and those guys, but he's playing well. I mean, when he was with the Jets, he kind of got stuck in that horrible team too for a while. I mean, the Jets never really gave him much to work with down there. Where did he go in between? Wasn't he with the Rams, or wasn't he? I forget where else he went.
He was with Carolina for
Jackson. Where did he go? He went somewhere before.
He was with the
Panthers. It was Carolina.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't do much down there either. But again, that franchise is just
I
mean, I feel bad for your friends, because that's a franchise that's going nowhere right now.
Yeah. They have the worst owner in the league too. I have to get his name, but he's the most terrible owner. He's like one of the worst people.
Now that Snyder's gone.
Yeah, I was going to say he's the worst
owner. That was maybe worse.
Excuse me. Oh
God. Well, Darnold. So he's going to get the full season. That's his team, because McCarthy's out all year. So there's not even pressure of the rookie guy come in. So we're going to find out whether that's or not.
Yeah, right over there, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm just sneezing. Allergies this time of year killing me.
You're allergic to being
I'm
allergic to being on an Eagles podcast.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Right?
All this green is making me sneeze.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm liking it because I was a big Darnold fan in college. I always root for my USC guys anyway, but
Of course.
and he's looking good. I mean, he's throwing some really. It's not like he's throwing dink and dunks either, man. He launched that 90. Didn't he have a 97-yarder to Jefferson? I mean, that was crazy.
He did.
I mean, Jefferson ran for a good 35.
Yeah, he ran for like 40 of it, but still.
But it was on the money.
Yeah, it was.
Money, and they run another, just like the Commanders are doing smart things on offense. They're a well-balanced offense in Minnesota, where Sam, I mean, he had all these passing yards, 200 something passing yards, but he only threw the ball 12 times, 13 times or something like that.
Right.
So they're not putting too much pressure on him. And they know that was a surprise, I think. I think everyone was like, what are the Vikings going to do without Kirk Cousins? I'm like, oh, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, Johnny, on Barkley and his start here in Philly? We're loving it.
He went from one team that I don't like into another team that I don't like. I mean, if they were going to get rid of him, I really wish it would have been to the AFC because he's consistently blistered the Redskins or Washington, and he's probably going to do the same. I mean, there's no secret as to why you got him. I would have done the same thing if it was an option. Yeah. I mean, what can you not like about him? He missed the swing pass that would have clinched the game. I get that, but I mean, you're going to get way more good from him than an occasional.
Oh, we already have.
I mean, right. I mean, everybody's making that drop. Actually, Malik Neighbors dropped the ball in the Washington Giants game last week. That had he made that catch, they would have walked off the field goal instead of Washington getting the ball back and then them walking off. Yeah, that was.
Hey, everybody's human, as good.
Yeah, right.
As they are. That's nothing to guarantee.
That was
even the simplest pass you could drop.
That was the difference of the game was him.
Hey, we've all been in the parking lot or just throwing the football in the backyard, and the simplest pass to you just somehow drop it. It happens to everybody. 99% of the time you're going to catch it, but occasionally it happens.
Don't catch it, right? No, it happened, and in that case, that was the ball game.
It was,
Giants would have won the game if he caught that ball. I mean, they were already in field goal range,
and he took it hard too.
Oh yeah, no,
he was hard on himself.
Yeah, I mean, so that's
for me.
Saquon.
Yeah, from Eagle, he did too. He took accountability. He said, I cost the team and all this.
No, he did too. No, I mean, you got to respect that.
Yep. No, this just from an Eagle fan perspective, we got to deal with Neighbors, who's going to be pain in the hard to cover. He's going to be that good. I mean, I really think
he's already that.
He's going to be like he already is tough.
Yes.
He's only going to get better, and he's already damn good. And then your quarterback is somebody that we have to deal with too now.
That's a good probability. I mean,
Yeah.
Neighbors could be CeeDee Lamb good or better.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
I think that's the level you're looking at. I mean, better than McLaurin. And believe me, I love Terry McLaurin, but he's not a top 10 wide receiver. He's more like 15, 18.
He's just outside the top 10. Just outside the top 10. But now with the quarterback, he might enter that top 10 conversation. Who knows?
That's a fair statement too. I mean,
but with CeeDee Lamb in this division, you got CeeDee Lamb, you have Neighbors now, you have AJ Brown, and then McLaren.
Devontae,
every one of our teams has got a really good.
No, I mean, you have to have that to win in NFL today.
Yeah.
I mean, you really need two. I mean, I love.
Well, the Eagles, fortunately, we do it.
I love the fact. I mean, I'm jealous.
We
of the
actually
fact
do it too.
I'm jealous of the fact that Philly's number 2 receiver is a guy that just won the Heisman Trophy 3 years ago or whatever it was. I mean, that's a luxury that most teams don't have, and
right.
I mean, that's legit. I mean, that's hard to duplicate.
Yeah, and they're both signed long term now. They're going to be with us next 4 years.
Yeah, your GM is still your GM is still the man. Now, I haven't seen or heard much out of Cooper DeJean and now I'm obviously very interested in how he turns out because that was part of the trade we were talking about. Is he playing? Has he done anything yet?
He's slowly being broken into the defense because he missed most of the preseason and training camp because he got injured.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's had to learn, so they're breaking him in slowly and surely. I think in another month or so, he'll be more of an integral part of the defense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love the guy, and when I found out they'd made the trade, and my first initial reaction was, no, don't make the trade. Pick the guy you want, and we could definitely use good DBs.
I think he's going to be really good.
Defense is terrible. I mean, Jaden Daniels might be the best fantasy quarterback in the league this year because he's going to have to score every possession for us to stay in any game because the defense is so bad. Not only did we not punt in the game Monday, but the Bengals didn't either. They either kicked a field goal, scored a touchdown, or missed a
field goal.
And that was actually a big miss when he missed it.
It was
McPherson, he was like 29 in a row or something. And I mean, Washington did get some fortune.
Yeah, no, he doesn't miss.
And even in the Giants game, I don't know if it's sustainable yet or not. The defense is so bad that the offense is going to have to be just as good as they were against Cincy every week for them to have a chance to win.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're being run on as well as they are because they have the two big tree trunks in the middle. They're still being ran on.
Probably the most disappointing thing in the whole season for Washington so far is how bad the front four, the run defense has just been really bad. And John Allen and Daron Payne have been stud players. I mean, Pro Bowl caliber. And they're both signed long term. They were drafted. They're our guys, and neither one of them have done much of anything so far. Yeah, and I'm not sure what it is, but the defense is a big problem. They can't stop anyone. But if the offense goes and doesn't have to punt the whole game again, I mean that's not sustainable either. But so far, I mean. That's how they've won 2 games. They've kept the ball and not given it back and just scored on every possession.
What was that, Matt?
I think John Madden said you can win games if you score points and don't turn the ball over. Right?
Yeah.
The wisdom.
It's what they're doing, right?
Yes. You don't
turn the ball over.
Yes. Don't punt. Don't go 3 and out. Keep the ball, score when you get it, and don't give the ball back. Don't give short.
Yeah, someone needs to remind Hurts to not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Get that straight now. We'll be okay.
No, he's gotten a little careless.
A little careless with the ball there.
No.
If he could just patch that part of the game up, the Eagles will be all right. But man, we're losing the turnover battle every game. We're lucky to be in that sense. We're lucky to be 2-1.
That's what I'm used to Washington losing the turnover battle all the time. I mean,
most of the time you don't win those games.
Between the Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz,
Carson
blah, 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 Dwayne Haskins. I go back, Rex Grossman. We had Donovan McNabb for a year.
Yeah.
After Andy Reid fleeced us to take him off of your hands after.
What was that trade? Do you remember? I mean, what did we get from McNabb?
I mean, I don't know. It was like a 5th round pick.
I don't think it was a lot.
It wasn't. It wasn't much.
We just gave you McNabb that was past his prime. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And we thought he was going to.
Wait.
He wasn't.
And McNabb played with Kelsey, right? Because Kelsey was a 5th rounder. I want to say Jason Kelsey had 1 year with McNabb, so I don't think it was the 5th round pick. But wouldn't that have been awesome? Maybe. Jason, give that 5th round pick that we got for McNabb.
Turned into Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
A future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean,
He was around there, but I think he had 1 year with McNabb before.
I don't know. I know he had Math. I think he had Mathis. I don't know if he had Kelsey. Maybe he did. I'll have to go back and look. When did we trade McNabb? Was that 20? Had to be like 20 or
10 or 11.
2010.
I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
11?
Yeah, I
Something
think it
like
was
that.
2010. It was the first Mike.
So yeah, Kelsey might.
It was the first Mike Shanahan year for
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
And it was like McNabb's 10th year in the league, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he was a rookie in '99.
And
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Going back to McNabb.
Who was the first pick in that draft?
of 99, wasn't it Couch?
In '99, it was Tim Couch.
Cleveland Brown.
All of those guys. It was actually it was supposed to be like one of those really top draft
yeah.
classes, and the only one that
You
panned out
remember who was
was
third?
McNabb, and maybe Culpepper was pretty decent, but
Smith.
I think that was
Achilles Smith.
Achilles Smith was third.
Achilles Smith, Tim Couch, McNabb, Culpepper. Wasn't there another one in there in the mix somewhere?
Cade McNown.
Cade McNown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
So McNabb clearly was the best, and you had the idiot Eagle fans down there booing because they didn't pick Ricky Williams.
Because they wanted
when we already had Deuce
Ricky,
Staley.
they wanted Ricky Williams.
And yeah, they wanted Ricky Williams.
They wanted Ricky
a bunch
Williams.
of moron Eagle fans were down there booing McNabb, and I'm like, I mean, part of our fan base are some of the dumbest fans in the league. They really are. I hate saying it, but they were all there at New York when McNabb was drafted. That was the segment of the fans that are just idiots because we already had Deuce Staley, and we hadn't had a quarterback on Eagles for like a decade.
Ever.
Right. Who we have? We had
We're gonna boo McNabb because we want Ricky. What's that?
We had Coy Detmer as like our starting the year before.
Coy Detmer.
He wasn't even
before that. We had like Bubby Brister.
He wasn't even the good Detmer.
No.
Yeah. Well, we had the other Detmer too. We had Ty and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And then we had like Bubby Brister and a bunch of other McMahon there for the Lions.
We've had more jabronis than you have.
Yeah, but we were going through that type of
period
though. And then these idiots go to New York and boo McNabb.
Yeah,
I know.
That's I don't know if I'll ever get over that because they embarrassed the heck out of us Eagle fans who know what we're talking about.
No, I agree with that. That was pretty disgraceful the way that Phillies fans unwelcomed him to Philly. and yet he still was the best.
He's still the best quarterback in the history of our franchise.
I wanted to hear you say it, but I think so.
Not really,
I don't know your franchise as much as you do, but I think he is. At least as long as I've been a fan.
I mean, unfortunately, Cunningham just didn't have the coaching
long enough to
teach him how to read defenses, or he would have been the best Eagle. A lot of people like to say Cunningham was, but they don't remember. They only remember the highlights. They don't remember the plays when he would just throw it to a guy sitting there, not even moving, to a cornerback.
Yeah, Larry Brown.
I mean, he just didn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember him running back.
He just couldn't read
reception.
Yeah, he couldn't read defense. He was a lot like Vic. I mean, Vic was also great arm and all this, and could run great.
Yeah.
That's why I compare him to the most because Vic also took a while before he could read defenses. And that's what happened with McNabb. I mean, with Cunningham.
Late research.
When he went to Minnesota, he had Moss, of course, that helps. But he was a much better quarterback when he was with the Vikings than when he was the Eagle.
Yeah.
And that's because he had coaches there that were actually teaching him how to play quarterback. But he didn't care to teach him anything. They just there's a long lure of his buddy just said to him, "Hey, go out and make 5 plays, and our defense will do the best. We'll do the rest." That's what he did with Randall. But which is unfortunate because Randall could have been a Hall of Fame quarterback had he had somebody teaching him how to play quarterback when he was here.
McNabb could have been a Hall of Fame quarterback if he had Fred Barnett to throw to, or Mike Quick, or
if he had 80 wide receivers.
Sure.
Yeah,
James
Thrash.
Thrash.
The thing about McNabb,
Charles Johnson,
just James Thrash, Torrance Small, Hank Basket. I mean, who are some of the other ones? I mean, just horrible. Todd Pinkston. Just complete garbage.
Fred X.
Fred.
Freddie Mitchell. I mean, May Brown.
Fred X.
May Brown. The list goes on and on. Just a bunch of.
And he
Just a
still threw
bunch
for
of
30,000 yards. Like in the record books, he's right there with
Torrance
Jim
Small.
Yeah.
Nay Brown was from UNC. I actually liked him.
He was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nay
that's
Brown
right,
was-
Johnny.
Nay Brown was
Good
a
one, man.
tornado. I've actually got
Yeah.
one of his old autographed football cards somewhere in a box somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, these are the
And
guys that were
look at
McNabb's
people-
number 1 and 2
people
wide
there.
receivers for most of his career.
No, I know.
Yes.
And when they got to then they went to the Super
And
Bowl.
went to the Super Bowl. Gee. That's
Yeah.
why I always put
How
that
about
against
that? No,
Andy Reid. Andy Reid learned from that, but unfortunately, he learned from that. He learned finally. Andy Reid finally learned about surrounding his young quarterback with talent, but unfortunately he learned that in Kansas City
with red shirts, and
Yeah.
it helps to have the refs on your back pocket too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he surrounded
He
Mahomes
surrounded
right day
his,
one
he
with
surrounded his
major
franchise quarterback
talent
with
wide
talent.
receiver.
Yes, that is true.
He's got a Hall of Fame tight end. He's got, he had what's his name there that's now in Miami first few years, and then he had this guy Rice looks really good. He's always given him, he's always given him talent to work with.
Yeah, no, I mean they built it the right way. I mean they found the guy. Washington's hoping we found the guy. That's
well, definitely off to a good start.
If you don't have the guy, you're not going.
You need a quarterback.
Yeah,
you need a quarterback in this league, or you need a veteran. That you bring in, and when you like Aaron Rodgers or something.
With the Jets.
The Jets are a win now team with him.
Yeah, that window's closing fast. It's either this year.
Yeah, they have to win now with Aaron Rodgers.
This year or next. And I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll probably even win a game in the playoffs. But
they really have to get Reddick in the defense. That defense is really good right now. But they can add him because their offense, they're only going to continue to get better with Aaron Rodgers during the season. So, you'll see they have weapons offensively. They got Mike Williams as their second wide receiver, who we know can play from his days in San Diego. They obviously have Wilson, who's one of the best, young wide receivers in the league.
Yeah,
they have a great one. They have one of the best running backs in the league. So, Aaron Rodgers, the Jets will be dangerous. I don't think any team will want to play the Jets in the playoffs
in January. And that's probably I'd say that's a fair statement. But they got to get there first.
They have to get there, because they don't have a big window. That's what I mean. They're a win now team, and they So we're gonna wrap up. We're just about over an hour. Any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Well, what are the Commanders got to do to win this weekend?
Who are you guys playing this week?
Washington is playing at Arizona for the 405. 405 game, which is a little odd in itself. And we play the Cardinals every 4 years. It's not a very common opponent, but
Kyler Murray. We've been talking about quarterbacks having a resurgence. Kyler Murray is playing.
He's looked a lot. Yeah, he's looked a lot better this year than he has in the last few. They absolutely smoked the Rams. They did. Not last week, but week before last, and then the Rams turned around and beat San Fran. So they
Cliff knows him though, right?
Okay.
Cliff Kingsbury knows Kyler Murray. So
that's very good.
Or weakness, he's got it.
That's true. The old coach is going back.
That's a great point. If
that game's in Arizona,
it is at Arizona, yes, and it's 4:00. So I think the line is Arizona's favored by 3, which is pretty much the home field. It went from 5 to 3 after Monday night.
Okay.
The line moved two full points just after America saw our new quarterback.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But that's
do you have a guy that can cover Harrison? Because
no.
Harrison is he's obviously
we don't have a guy to cover.
He's definitely the goods too.
The only way Washington is going to win games is to outscore. It's not going to be. Washington is not winning any 17-13 kind of games. No, they're not.
I didn't realize that you guys got Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, I know. I actually like him. although in the Giant game,
he's a good player. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was on your team until I was watching that game Monday night. I'm like,
Yeah.
when did they get that guy?
Yeah, they
And I also didn't know that you got Wagner either, the linebacker, the
from
Hall of
Seattle.
Famer there.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I know he's older now, but he was a great player.
He took a bad angle on a tackle and I mean gave up like a 20-something yard run, and
he's not the same player anymore. But I was surprised. I didn't know he was. I thought he retired.
No, he's
I didn't know he's still playing.
We signed him in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, I think
Okay,
remember Dan Quinn was the DC in Seattle during the heyday, the Legion of Boom.
Oh yeah, okay,
So
that makes
he's known Wagner, at least a decade.
Wagner's an all-time great linebacker. I mean, he's going
right. I mean, he'll probably get in on the first ballot. I mean, he is a Hall of Famer for sure.
He's a great player. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's lost.
He was. I don't know. He's not
else.
The same player anymore, but not a bad guy though to have on your team to kind of have the other players learn from.
Yeah, right. I mean, to set a new culture with a new coaching staff and new GM and all. He was a great signing. Yeah, everybody's super happy to have him.
So your guy St. Juice that I remember you were high on last year or the year before, I remember. So what's going on with him? Because I know he's in your secondary. Every time I
St. Toast
see him, he's getting smoked.
St. Toast.
Well, smoked toast. So is that what you call it?
Yes.
So my guess is you're not as high on him as you once were.
Yeah. No, I'm
St. Toast.
Yeah. He's the best of a bad group of cornerbacks, and I mean, there's just no real quality NFL talent in the defensive backfield. I mean, Jeremy Chin at safety is
he's it,
and
he's
that's
pretty
much it. The other guys that Washington's putting out there at corner and safety would not be starting on just about any other team. I mean, it's bad, very bad.
So you giving up on St. Juice, or you still think he can turn it around?
If he's your second or third best corner, you may be okay. If he's intending to be your best corner, you're toast. He's not a one-on-one shutdown corner to go one-on-one against AJ when we play Philly.
It's a tough division because he'd have one-on-one against CeeDee Lamb, Neighbors, and AJ Brown.
Yes. And right, you
saw
what
guys twice a year.
You saw what Neighbors. Yeah, you saw what Neighbors did against him last week.
Yeah,
and Lamb and AJ and everybody's licking their chops. I mean, if you're a fantasy football guy, and I know you both are, when whoever's playing Washington that week, that's what receiver you want to get. I mean, seriously. Now, Washington may still win the game if Jaden Daniels goes off, but they're not going to win the game because the defense is getting a bunch of stops and short fields, and no, that's definitely not happening.
Yeah,
not this year.
So that's a good segue to the Eagles game, because that's their key to the game against the Bucs is Jalen Carter. Can he duplicate next week what he just did so that the rest of the defense can step up and play their game? If he can do that and touch Baker, then
should.
Who's going to be
at Tampa?
Yeah,
because Washington played Tampa at Tampa the first week, and they whooped us good.
Which might be interesting about that game too, because that hurricane right
I
now.
know. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's going to get there before the game.
Mike Evans,
if they end up having a lot of damage or whatever.
Great. Mike Evans and Godwin are both still stud receivers.
Well, Matt and I have been huge Evans fans for a long time.
They're both great.
I wanted the Eagles to draft him. I wanted them to trade for him. I wanted Howie to make a move at the end of his rookie contract, and I'm like, God, we just can't get Evans.
But no, Mike Evans is.
I can't remember a player in the league, especially maybe just wide receiver. I won't say any position because I just probably I'm going to forget somebody. But have you ever seen a more consistent wide receiver that's a guaranteed 1,000 yards and basically 10 touchdowns every season?
Yeah,
even if he's injured,
that's what he does.
Yeah,
no,
even if he misses games, 1,000+ yards and 10 touchdowns. You could You could write it down every year.
Yeah.
He's so consistent.
Yeah.
Right.
Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Mike Evans, like those are the only guys that you can count on every year to be catching 1,000 yards.
Yeah. It's just the guy is as consistent. His
Yeah.
numbers are always right there.
Durable. Never
every
never
year.
seems to get hurt or
Durable.
not. It doesn't miss games anyway.
Doesn't miss a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Big guy, fights for the ball. Yeah, I always liked him. So the Eagles got to figure. The Eagles finally have a good secondary. You're talking about the issues you've had with your secondary. Ours has been bad for a while.
Yeah.
We've always had Slay, but we always had one guy. But now we got a couple guys. Like our rookie that we drafted, Mitchell. He looks good. I mean, he's going to make some mistakes here and there, but overall, he's been very impressive.
Right.
Quinyon Mitchell, and then we have Cooper DeJean, who hasn't even really been injected into the defense yet, sitting there on the sidelines, and so he's going to. I don't know what you're going to do with him. He's either going to be a slot corner or a safety. I don't know what they're going to end up doing with him. He's kind of a hybrid player.
I think probably a slot corner, and probably Vic's going to use cornerback blitzes and all sorts of stuff when he gets in there, I think.
Yeah, you got to utilize him as a blitzer when he's in there for sure.
Yeah.
Their safeties are good between Blankenship and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Plus, they got Sidney Brown.
Sidney Brown that is going to come back.
Yeah, so they're pretty shocked.
By the way, Chase Brown, loved watching him play. That's his twin brother, Johnny. I don't know if you're aware of that, but Sidney Brown is on the Eagles. He's their safety. And Chase Brown, the running back for the Bengals, they're twins.
No kidding. Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Chase Brown. Chase Brown torched Washington.
Yeah, he's good.
He is a good player.
Runs hard. He plays offense as hard-nosed as his brother plays hard-nosed defense. His brother is a freaking laser out there trying.
Brown. Okay, that's cool to know. I did not know that.
Yeah, and they have if you ever want to read the story up on those guys, they grew up in a really tough, like they were adopted, and I think they were adopted, right, Matt? I think they were adopted.
They were,
and they grew up in like the slums, and the
good
right and
foster parents.
What was that?
Oh wow,
they had a good group of foster parents.
Yeah, took them under their wing and helped grow up in a tough environment, and so it's a really good feel-good story with those two guys.
So, win for the Commanders this weekend?
All right, so the Eagles and Buccaneers. Yeah, what's your prediction there, Johnny? We always do prediction. Give us a score.
I hate a short week and a West Coast travel all at once, and coming off probably the biggest franchise win in a while. It feels like a letdown. Like it feels like a coming back to earth. Like, okay, you're not really as good as you might think you are. We caught some breaks, beat the Giants on a bunch of field goals, beat Cincinnati, but only because
that still makes me laugh.
All of that makes me think that this is a trap. It's just the Cardinals, the mindset might be, but they're capable.
It'd probably be a shootout, like you said, because the Cardinals don't have good defense.
Yeah, it could
be a 32-30 game.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be in the 30s. I mean, the overs, I would bet the over if I were.
Yeah, I wonder what the over-under is for that game.
Yeah, it's probably up there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Washington's capable of winning for sure, but
give us a prediction, Johnny. We're putting you on the spot.
My prediction is, you know what? Yeah, Washington's going to win. Washington's going to Arizona. They're going to win.
There you go.
They're going to win.
What's the score?
That means a high score.
30-24 or 30-27. 30-27. Yeah,
I see a high scoring game.
I think they're going to win 30-27, and I think Philly will beat Tampa.
Remember, no AJ Brown, no Devontae Smith in this game.
Is AJ definitely out again?
AJ, well, they haven't called it yet, but he said that he was going to be out. But that was a couple weeks ago. They may, because Devontae's probably not going to play.
Philly's going to win 23-17.
AJ says, I'll try to play. 23-17 Eagles.
23-17 Eagles is my pick on that one.
I like it. That means the defense.
All right, Matt. The defense has to play well again, especially because the Eagles are just down weapons. Unless they just run Barkley again. I mean, they have a weapon in Barkley too, of course.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your prediction?
So that's the thing with the Eagles. I feel like they could win every single Sunday if they just commit to run the ball. Like there's no way, even with Brown and Smith hurt, that if your game plan was to just trust your guys to move them off the ball and run with Barkley, and just spell him occasionally with Shipley.
And throw it to Goddard more. We saw what that just happened
they
last week. Goddard went off.
If they have a smart game plan on offense, they have enough weapons to do anything they want to. They just cannot turn the ball over, right? I think if this is not a game they're going to escape like they did last week with turnovers and still win. So, and in the Packers game, the same thing. They turned the ball over and then they had enough talent to win. If they turn the ball over against Tampa, they will lose for sure. Todd Bowles knows how to play the Eagles. So that's the match. That's very interesting. But what can our defense do against this offense is what I'm very curious about. So I agree with that lower scoring game. I would say I'm right in the same kind of category. I'm not sure. I think if the Eagles don't turn the ball over, the Eagles can get 27 points.
It's been a big.
I'll add 4 points
this season so far.
Prediction. It's a big if. It's conditional, right? I don't know if we were big into conditional predictions, but if they don't turn the ball over, they win 27-17. I'll give them a win by 10. If they turn the ball over, I'll go with Johnny's score. Only the Eagles are on the losing end of that. 23-17 Bucs if the Eagles turn the ball.
Okay. All right. Well, here's my take. You mentioned Bowles. He just owns Hurts. Hurts is never
he does.
He's well against his defense. So until Hurts proves that he could play against that defense and not turn the ball over, it's going to be, I mean, I hate picking. This will be the second straight week I'd pick against the Eagles. It worked last week because the Eagles ended up winning. So, but I just got to see it. I have to see him play better against that, Tampa 2 defense or whatever they play under Bowles, because he has been in Hurts' head every single time. So I'm going to go, I hate doing it, but I think I'm going to go 2017 Bucs.
27.
I just hope I'm wrong.
Which always seems to be the score with them, right? They're always right around that 20 to a team.
Yeah.
Either that or the Eagles get crushed.
I mean, I look forward to the injuries. Eagles. I mean, if AJ Brown plays,
it was ugly, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm assuming AJ Brown's not playing, and I'm assuming that Devontae's also not going to play. If either one of those players do end up playing, then I probably would pick the Eagles to win, because I think it would make that difference of what I have as a field goal loss. It would give them the win. So I'll just throw that caveat out there, just in case.
I think a bad weather rainy game favors Philly too.
I agree.
Well, the storm is going to be like it's going to make landfall on late Thursday. So most of the storm is going to be. It's just a matter of how much damage, and if they're still using that as like an like they typically use stadiums as like what do you call them? Evacuation sites or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So if they have to use their stadium, they might not be able to clear people out. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like NFL's too concerned about it, and it does seem the storm will be well gone by then. But if it does a lot of damage in the area, that's a different story. I don't know, but we'll just assume they'll play and all that kind of thing. And so if those guys don't play, I just think it'll be a close game. And I just Hurts, I just because he just doesn't play well against a defense or Bowles. I could see him throwing another late pick that cost him a game or something like that.
Yeah. So can I. Like just a throw where he's not reading the field.
Yeah.
He just puts it up there. Desperation attempt.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can see
I look forward to when I can actually pick the Eagles to win, because now this will be 2 straight weeks I'm picking against them. But,
and the Bucs crushed them last year in the playoffs.
I mean, well, the Eagles, any team was beating Eagles last year. I keep telling everyone that wants to just say, "Oh, they lost so and so at the end of the year." I'm like, they would lose to the worst team they would have lost to Carolina. I'm not even kidding. Last year, at the end of the season, that team just completely quit.
Yeah, they
collapsed.
They did collapse.
I swear, Carolina and Young would have beat the Eagles at the end of the season. So hopefully they've turned a page on that. I mean, that's why this was such a nice win against the Saints, because that team last year at the end of the season was not gonna beat the Saints this past weekend.
Yeah,
not happening. So, but all right, so that's my prediction.
All right.
What's that?
I said, I mean, that's a quality
say,
win for Philly. I mean, it
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
a tough
sure.
game, a tough opponent, and that's a quality win. That's a coin flip kind of game, and you got to get as many wins as you can, and so you
Especially
need
in the conference.
You need them later. Yeah, they're NFC wins, even that. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well, that's a solid win.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And as Matt always says, these first month of the season, you really still don't know, like, are the Saints, is their offense really going to be this good the whole season? Probably not, but they're still good, and they're tough to beat. They're always tough to beat, even if they stink in New Orleans.
Dome. Yeah,
place to play.
The
So
best
that's why
performance was the way they handled Kamara. Kamara went off the weekend before, and the Eagles totally shut him down.
Eagles shut him down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they basically decided they were not going to let him beat them. Somebody else might, but not him. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. Now, the best thing coming out of the game, Matt and I talked about before you came out, Johnny, is the fact that their defense really, which was not showing like in the Atlanta game, I don't know what they did in that last drive that I know you were sleeping and didn't see it.
Yeah, right.
They went down. They had a minute 40 seconds, and they were on their 12-yard line or something. I don't remember. They had to go 70 yards in a minute and 40. Yeah. And they did. They were down with like 40 seconds left, and they were on the 12-yard line. So it took them, they went 50 yards in 3-4 plays. It was ridiculous. So to see the defense stand up and really play well on the road against a great offense.
No,
that was really a key, And Jalen Carter, I know you didn't watch the game, Johnny, but man, this was a Jalen Carter that we know we drafted.
Yeah.
He was just wrecking the game. He was
relentless.
He was in the backfield almost the entire game. Like they could not stop him.
The Jalen Carter that
and that's what we need
on draft night just was like, he is not going to fall to number 9. Come on, somebody draft him, please.
Like, bring him.
Yeah. He went right to the Eagles.
We texted that night on the draft. I was like, there is no way you're getting Carter.
Johnny he couldn't.
I could not believe it.
You're not happy.
I still can't believe it.
You got to blame the Bears.
I blame the Bears for a lot.
The Bears had a chance. Seattle and the Bears both had chances.
I know. Yeah. Seattle was the one I really couldn't believe.
Yeah.
It seemed like they needed a guy like him, but yeah, I'll be regretting that for a long time.
Well, all right, guys. Closing comments, and we'll Johnny, thanks for joining. We'll have you on, of course, throughout the season, and we'll definitely have you on when we play each other, for sure. Mm-hmm. But anytime you want to come on and talk NFC East football, or if your quarterback continues to put up these ridiculous numbers. He's looking at the rookie of the year. I mean, rookie of the year, that's going to be a tough race with Neighbors and Harrison and him.
Yeah.
Typically, they go to the quarterback. Usually they get the edge.
Caleb. I mean,
Caleb was going.
It's still early. It's still early. Right now, Daniels has moved into as the betting favorite at the whatever the gambling sites.
Yep.
But yeah.
Especially if he keeps winning,
Yeah, no. If they at least stay 500 or better, then his season will look even better to the people that vote on that.
Yep. So again, thanks for joining the program, and I'm sure that our listeners from the audio days definitely recognize you. Now they can see your wonderful mug like they can Matt and mine, because it was all just audio until then. But yeah, next time you're on, feel free to represent. Put your command.
I'll put a hat if you want. A cap and a shirt. A jersey. I will.
Whatever. Just feel free to do it. You don't have to, but
No, I will. Okay.
You're here to represent your team. I'm sure you have a Daniels jersey pretty soon.
It might be time to invest.
Matt, as always, thanks
I saw a whole rack of Chase Young Washington jerseys at the clearance store last.
I didn't know he was on the Saints. Like I must have just not paid attention much to this off season, because all these players are like on these teams. I'm like, when the hell did Chase Young end up on the Saints?
Yeah,
I didn't know he went to the Saints.
When Washington traded him to the Niners, it was only they didn't extend him. He
Didn't
was
extend him.
running
Right.
out his contract, and then
So apparently the 49ers let him go.
He was yes, exactly. He was
And he played well with with 49ers. He played well there.
I mean, I think he did some good things, but I don't. It seemed like there was at least one play in the Super Bowl that he missed badly, like he was supposed to be in this spot and he wasn't, and that was always one of his problems in Washington was that he was a freelancer. He just didn't stick to the scheme very well, and that works in college when everybody on the other team is less talented than you, but it doesn't work in the NFL.
Well, much like you had that reaction when Jalen Carter went to the Eagles, that was my reaction when Young went to Washington, because I remember he got hurt. That guy was, I mean, college, he was unblockable.
Absolutely. He was an absolute.
I did not look forward to facing him twice a year.
No, I know. But
he had he's had a couple major injuries, right? I know his Achilles and knee.
Yeah.
So he's not, unfortunately, you hate to see that because these guys are so good, but he's just not the same player as he was.
No, he's not. He probably won't ever be.
No.
But, hey, my phone's giving out here, I think. So,
yep.
Good show, John.
All right. Yeah. Closing thoughts. You guys.
Closing thoughts. Go Birds. Go G-Men. Commanders. Let's root
we're all rooting for the Giants.
And I'm not sure I could root for you.
G-Men. Oh, yeah. G-Men because they're playing Dallas. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Sounds good. Cardinals Washington Cardinals that's honestly an interesting game.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. I think that game could definitely be in the 30s for both teams again. It should be a lot of offense.
I think so. I think it'll be a high scoring game. Yeah, I think so.
All
right, guys. Thanks for joining. And for those of you tuning in, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. And eventually we'll do some live streams. Like I said, once we get enough of an audience and some, once we build the subscriptions, we'll have all three of us on live and we'll be able to take your questions live while we're doing the show. So till next time, thank you again for joining us, and we'll catch you all later. Fly Eagles fly, baby.
Peace.
Bye-bye.